Hey folks, how you doing? It's James JT at the Movies, back here again for another video in my movie space. I hope you're all keeping safe and well at the moment in the world, and well, just in general. And today I'm going to bring you just another DVD, Blu Ray and 4K update. Yeah, that's right, I have now upgraded to 4K. I say upgraded, there was a deal on the Argos website for those who aren't familiar or maybe live outside the UK. Argos is a basically like a catalogue department store. You can go on the website and order pretty much anything. They also have stores. Obviously the stores are shut at the moment, however you can do obviously the order online stuff and what they call click and collect as well, which is where you can have your goods delivered to your local supermarket and pick them up there when you go to do your shopping, which is exactly what I did when I got a really good bundle deal on a 4K TV and a 4K player. But I'll get to the titles that I've picked up on 4K in a minute. So, like I say, it's DVDs, Blu Rays, and some 4K as well, which is great. So, the first DVD that I picked up, I got this on Amazon for a couple of quid. I'm doing some editing on a video that will actually make it to the channel probably in the next few months. A video that me and my friend Phil shot just after Christmas. We did a marathon of Harrison Ford movies, and I can't remember how this next film came up, but anyway, it came up in conversation in some of the sort of the unused footage, and it reminded me to take a look at it. So yeah, it's Gridlocked. It's got Tim Roth and it's got Tupac Shakur in it. I don't really know much about it, but I remember reading up the synopsis at the time. You know, it's a bit of an action movie, a bit of a buddy movie with the two of them. The cast is what sold me on it, and it was something that, like I say, I was keen to see. It was on the list of things to pick up. Saw a good deal on Amazon and thought, why not? So yeah, it's Gridlocked. The next one I picked up, I watched Predestination for the first time about 3 weeks ago. Me and Laura watched it, and we're both absolutely blown away with it, to be fair. It was a film that I put off for a very long time because somebody spoiled what turned out to be a very small part of it. But the way it was spoiled for me, I thought that it was the be-all and end-all of the film, so I didn't bother watching it for the longest time. Anyway, I got chatting to friends at work, and it came up, and I was like, I really must watch it. So I finally sat down and watched the film and loved it. And as I tend to do when I love something, I go and have a look to see if there are other films like it, and you know what people would recommend if you liked. And this next title came up as a recommendation, and it's called Primer. As I understand it, it's a sci-fi film talking about sort of like the concepts and the science behind time travel when it's sort of first invented. I don't know much more about it than that. Again, I got a really good deal. It was under a £5 on Amazon, and I'm really looking forward to checking this one out very soon. The next one, if you watched my last update, you'll know that one of my favourite actors of all time is Nicolas Cage. Don't hate me. The guy has done some good stuff. I know he's done some terrible stuff as well. But I picked up this next one. It's his latest release, and I'm quite interested to see it. And that's Colour Out of Space. Now, I know that there was quite a fancy sort of Blu Ray edition. I don't quite know who put it out. But to be fair, I'm intrigued to see this. But I'm not intrigued enough to go and spend the extra £5 or £10 on the fancier edition. So you never know, if it's something I like in the future, I might want to seek that out. But for now, the DVD is more than good enough for me, and that is the 3 DVDs for this update. So before I jump into the Blu Rays, it might seem a backwards way of doing it, but I'm gonna show you the 4Ks that I've picked up. So the first one I actually got when we went and did the weekly shop at the supermarket. Had a look on the media aisle and saw what they had, and they had this one reduced, even though it's just come out. It's a Roland Emmerich one. It's his new one, Midway, and I thought like, it was a tenner off the retail price. It was the same price as a Blu Ray, and I thought, well, do you know what? For the same price as a Blu Ray, I might as well get the 4K and see what it's like. I quite like Roland Emmerich's films. You know, they're just sort of popcorn action, aren't they? You know, you don't have to think too hard to watch them normally, and that's quite a good thing sometimes. Just stick an action movie on like that, and just be able to sit back and enjoy it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that one out on the new setup. So the next one's, it's a double dip for me. I suppose it's really a triple dip, although I got rid of my DVDs years ago. When I first got Blu Ray in 2008. I had the player on order, and I was in town. I remember this. I was in town with one of my oldest friends. And we were talking about the fact that I was getting my first Blu Ray player, and I was really excited for it. And he's like, "Oh, Thompson, you've got to go and get The Dark Knight." And so I went into Sea Hijack and picked up a copy of The Dark Knight on Blu Ray, which is the Blu Ray I still have of the film, and it was the very, very first one I picked up. And as soon as I'd clicked order on the TV and the player, I'm like, I need to get the Dark Knight series. So I went to have a look. Now on Zavvi, HMV, all of them, the individual Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays, were anything from £25 to £30, or it was £40 for the set. So I thought, well, do you know what? I'll pick up the set for £40. So this is the 4K transfers of the Dark Knight trilogy. That begins The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. And I've watched The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises this week, and they look superb. Absolutely superb. My only gripe, and this is a minuscule gripe at that, is anyone who's seen The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises Blu-ray will know that obviously Christopher Nolan shot certain scenes in the film in IMAX. And it goes full screen for the IMAX shots, but then when he's doing the normal, however else he shot the rest of the film, it's slightly sort of letterboxed, and sort of it's one of those things where for me, once I've noticed it, I always now notice where the sort of the black bars come on the top and the bottom of the screen, and I was really hoping with the 4K that there might have been a way to, sort of remove that so it all sort of feels like it's the same sort of ratio, if that's the right terminology to use. So the next title that the next titles that I've picked up now are all on Blu-ray. There is one sort of standard title that I actually imported because it's not come out here in the UK yet, and doesn't for another month, 6 weeks or so yet, and I really wanted to see this, so I'll show you that. And then the remaining ones are all from sort of what's considered to be sort of boutique labels in varying degrees, so like special editions of things. So I'll show you the first one. So I imported this. Funnily enough, it's an Australian copy that I bought through Amazon's German site, and that is Parasite. Me and Laura watched this the other night and were absolutely blown away by it. I'd said that Knives Out was my favourite film of 2019, and actually, having watched this just the once now, I think I'd say that this takes the top spot actually, and puts Knives Out in at number 2. An absolutely sensational piece of filmmaking. And I really can't wait to watch it again. In fact, me and Laura have said that we're going to sit down quite soon, with all this free time that we've all got at the moment, give this another watch and do you a JT at the Movies review on that, because I really think it deserves talking about. Yeah, absolutely loved that film. So, these last 5 titles that we've got here, like I say, are all from sort of, what's considered boutique labels. So, I'm going to show you this next one here. So, this one's from a company called Network. Now, I don't actually know really whether you'd consider these to be sort of in the same sort of level of, boutique label as like your likes of Arrow and Criterion and, Indicator and so on and so forth, but it's a special remaster of a film starring Roger Moore. It's the first of 2 films starring Roger Moore that I've picked up this month, and it's one that I've been looking to check out for quite a while. Anybody who's familiar with the James Bond sort of community on YouTube will be familiar with Calvin Dyson. He shot a video sort of out of series, if you like, talking about Roger Moore's performance in this film, as it was filmed between Live and Let Die and The Man with the Golden Gun, and it's The Man Who Haunted Himself. So it's a Blu Ray transfer of the film. It's got special features on there. There's an isolated musical suite. There's a commentary from Roger Moore himself. There's galleries on there, promotional material from the time, the trailer. So a fairly standard Blu Ray release. And you're probably thinking Blu Ray. It's come in a DVD case, because it looks to be a double pack, but it is definitely the Blu Ray. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. The Man Who Haunted Himself. So I'll show you the next Roger Moore one. This one is a release from 88 Films, and I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. The cast sold me on this one. It's called North Sea Hijack. Now, I believe it's got another name or was released under something, because I think Roger Moore plays a character in this called like Lieutenant Folks or something like that, with 2 Fs. and I'm sure that this film has been released before under the sort of like the tongue-in-cheek title of For Folk's Sake. But it's got Roger Moore in the cast, Anthony Perkins and James Mason. So you've got a really stellar cast there, of actors. The basic plot is obviously that there's trouble on an oil rig, and Roger Moore is the only man who can sort of save the day. I'm looking forward to checking it out. I'm hoping that it'll be sort of as tongue-in-cheek as Roger Moore's other films that I've seen. Obviously his Bond stuff, and I've seen him in a handful of things, Cannonball Run, The Quest, obviously The Saint, things like that. I'm hoping that it carries that same Roger Moore charm that we all know and love, so I'm looking forward to checking that out soon. The next one is from Powerhouse Indicator, and I missed this when it came out as the sort of initial release, and this is a reprint. And as soon as I saw that this was available on Amazon, I hit add to cart straight away. Wasn't missing out on it again. It's starring Faye Dunaway and Tommy Lee Jones, and it's The Eyes of Laura Mars. And this one is basically a bit of a thriller from the 70s, written by John Carpenter and directed by Irvin Kershner. So that really told me all I needed to know about this. There's a few folk, I think Luke at Razorwire Reviews has talked about this one before. Daniel Orton over at Physical Media for Life, Orton Productions. I'm pretty sure he picked this one up as well, and it's been one that's been on the list for a while. But when it went out of print, obviously wasn't prepared to pay the sort of silly money that you pay for buying a title off somebody second-hand out of print. So the last two are Criterion releases. I've been trying to build up my Criterion collection and sort of explore a wider range of cinema. You can see quite here, I've got thousands of films behind me, DVD and Blu Ray. And while there are loads of genres here, you've got your horror, thriller, comedy, sci-fi, action, everything. The majority of things that are in this collection are what you would sort of consider to be sort of, commercial films. And in the last couple of years or so, as I've really sort of delved into the sort of the YouTube movie community and sort of got to regularly watching people, my interests and my tastes have sort of been broadened to like world cinema and sort of films that might be considered to have more of a cult following and not be sort of as commercial as say something like I don't know, the Evil Dead series or Nightmare on Elm Street, Jaws, or for want of a better expression. So anyway, I'll stop rambling and I'll show you the titles. So the first one is Jane Fonda and Donald Sutherland in Clute, and this is again a bit of a detective thriller from the 70s. The cast and the synopsis were what sold me on this. I'm really looking forward to checking it out, and like I say, it's another title to add to my very, very humble Criterion collection. This last title, I've been intrigued to pick this up and watch it since I heard Elliot Cohen talk about this on his channel, and then do a review podcast with his dad. And I really, really enjoyed that video, and like I say, it's been one of those where it's been on the list since then, and I've just been waiting for the right moment to pick it up. So that is Diabolique. I don't really know much more about this other than obviously, like I say, what I've heard on Elliot's video, but it really intrigued me, and I'm really looking forward to checking this one out soon. So yeah, I'm going to be definitely watching all of these pretty much soon. So thank you very much for watching, folks. Sorry if it seems a bit of a random and an out of the blue video. I did want to say as well, obviously this Sunday we were supposed to be having the first of our Star Wars vlogs go live, and my work schedule's just become a bit more hectic recently than it has been for the last few weeks. I'm still going out to work, and it's just meant that I've had to slightly rethink that project, and that there's going to be a slight delay on the first vlog, and I didn't want to miss my weekly upload and have something for you. And I had the fairly large stack of films that's arrived in the post or I've picked up at the supermarket this week, and I wanted to show you them. So yeah, look out for the Star Wars video, which will be arriving at some point towards the back end of this week at the very latest. The new concept that we're going to do, rather than doing videos on each individual film, is we're going to take the 3 trilogies and then the 3 spin-off films and do 4 videos. So there'll be a video on the prequels, a video on the original trilogy, a video on the sequel trilogy, and then the 3 spin-offs, obviously Rogue One, Solo, and the animated Clone Wars movie. Will all get their own sort of combined vlogs where me and Laura discuss them. And, you know, we'll take 5 minutes per film. It is my thoughts at the moment. So guys, that's been this sort of little bit of an update and DVD and Blu Ray and 4K haul as well for you. If you've liked it, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm doing more videos like this regularly. I've got more videos in the works to be released for you in the next few weeks, where I dive more into the collection here and show you more of the titles that I've got. The organising the collection video and the one where I walked through the horror titles seem to have been responded to quite well, so I've got one coming up on the thriller section and the action section, and I'm going to keep going through there and let you know what's in the collection. Then of course, if there's any films you want me to talk about in more detail, drop me a comment and let me know. If there's anything that you'd recommend I pick up based on what I've shown you here, or any thoughts you've got on any of these films, drop a comment below and we'll have a chat. And yeah, thank you very much guys. Like I said at the beginning, please take care of yourselves, continue to stay safe, and I'll see you again real soon. Cheers.